What's up, tennis fans? I'm Lauren Lynch, and this is Tennis Now, your source for the latest tennis news now. Keeping you up with the latest scores from the Australian Open, Alexandr Dolgopolov had never surpassed a Grand Slam third round before this Australian Open. But the man nicknamed Dolgo has made a name for himself as a giant killer. Overmatched in the opening set, Dolgopolov was overwhelming with the match on the line, breaking Robin Soderling's serve 9 times to upset the 4th-seeded Swede in 5 sets and advance to the Australian Open quarterfinals, where he will meet with Andy Murray. Dolgopolov delivered 50 winners, while Soderling committed 51 errors in becoming the highest men's seed to depart the draw. It was Dolgopolov's first win over top 10 opponent and his second straight win over a Grand Slam finalist. The 22-year-old from Ukraine fought back from a 2-1 deficit to defeat the 2008 Australian Open finalist Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in the 4th round. Dolgo said, "That's my goal, to be top 20, top 10. You need to beat those kind of players to be there." Melbourne police are investigating a family member of French player Aravane Rezai for a serious safety matter. The alleged offense occurred on Tuesday, January 18th, the second day of the Australian Open. A police spokeswoman told the Melbourne Herald-Sun police are investigating an alleged incident involving a 23-year-old woman. The WTA announced it has banned a Rezai family member from the tour, but did not name the family member. Rezai's father had run-ins with the French Federation officials in the past. The WTA said a serious safety matter has been brought to the WTA's attention, which has resulted in a family member of Aravane Rezai being definitely suspended from all future WTA events pending our investigation. In respect of the privacy of the player involved, the WTA is not in a position to comment further on the details of the matter. The 17th-seeded Rezai lost in the first round. Andy Roddick was the last American singles player still in Melbourne until Stan Wawrinka showed Roddick the door in an Australian Open 4th round sweep. Roddick's departure followed early round exits by top 20 compatriots John Isner, Marty Fish, and Sam Querrey, and means that for just in the second time since 1988, an American man failed to reach the Australian Open 4th round. It marked the 4th straight time America's top-ranked player failed to surpass the 4th round of a major. After the match, Roddick spoke like a man carrying a load and bearing the criticism for American missteps in majors. Roddick said, "It's tough. I remember last summer when I was catching all the heat for not having an American guy in the top 10 for the first time in 15 years. Didn't really make sense to me that I was the only one taking the heat when I was the only guy that had been there for the last 6 years. I didn't know how I was catching it for that one." The 4th round was no sweat for Rafael Nadal. Nadal registered his 25th consecutive Grand Slam match victory with a straight-set sweep of Marin Cilic and announced he's feeling better after having a bout with flu-like symptoms. Nadal said, "I'm not sweating as much, I feel better." He continues his quest to make history as the first man since Rod Laver in 1969 to win 4 consecutive major titles. Before beating Cilic, Nadal admitted he was still suffering from a bit of illness he contracted at the start of the season and was making frequent shirt changes during his matches. Nadal said, "In Doha, I had that problem. I wasn't feeling very well. Have fever and these things. Seems like after that, my body is still not perfect. I'm sweating more than usual. I'm more tired than usual when I'm playing." The top-seeded Spaniard will face 7th-seeded compatriot David Ferrer for a place in the Final Four. Ferrer ended the run of Canadian first-timer Milos Raonic in a 4-set win. Though Nadal has dominated his head-to-head series with Ferrer, his Davis Cup teammate is the only man to ever lose the opening set to Nadal in a major and come back to win the match. Nadal has won 110 of 111 Grand Slam matches after winning the opening set. A battle of French Open champions took women's tennis to historic heights over the weekend. Fueled by ferocity, Francesca Schiavone fought off 6 match points to finally subdue Svetlana Kuznetsova 6-4, 1-6, 16-14 in a 4-hour, 44-minute marathon, the longest women's Grand Slam match in Open era history. Exhaustion turned to elation in the end as 6-seeded Schiavone advanced to her first career Australian Open quarterfinal in 11 appearances down under. Asked how she felt about her role in history, the 30-year-old Schiavone replied, "Good test," adding, "I was watching the clock. I say, brava, Francesca, you are tough physically. So it's great for me because I work to do this kind of thing. And to arrive and win a big match like this is, you feel big." Tennis Now's man in Melbourne, Mark Peterson, was on hand to shoot all 4 hours and 44 minutes of the match. Check out Mark's photos of tennis history in our photo gallery. Will Schiavone, who is surely set to feel a level of soreness previously inexperienced, have any legs left when she takes on world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki for a spot in the Final Four? We'll find out. Meanwhile, Tennis Now's columnist Frank L. Johnson said, "Stop the madness and end marathon matches by adding a rule. Make final set tiebreakers mandatory in all 4 Grand Slam tournaments." Currently, the US Open is the only Grand Slam tournament with a final set tiebreaker. Should the breaker be mandatory? Let us know your thoughts. It was well past daughter Jada's bedtime when Kim Clijsters turned out the lights on Ekaterina Makarova 7-6, 6-2 to advance to the Australian Open quarterfinals for the 6th time. The left-handed Makarova upset 13-seeded Nadia Petrova, the woman who was crushed by Clijsters in last year's 3rd round. The 3rd-seeded Clijsters continues to successfully juggle the demands of motherhood and the Pro Tour and says her secret isn't a cape, it's a support from her team. Clijsters says, "I'm not Superwoman. Look, I probably have the fullest box of anyone. I have a nanny, a great team around me. We're all a great bunch of friends and we take it as a great adventure ever since I came back. I hope I can make it to continue for a while longer." Next up for Clijsters is Agnieszka Radwanska, who saved match points in fighting off China's Peng Shuai. Foot surgery sidelined Radwanska in forcing her to pull the plug on her 2010 season. Playing her first tournament since she lost the opening round of Beijing last October, Radwanska has pulled out 2 comeback victories to reach the quarterfinals for the first time since 2008. Radwanska joked, "I think I should have surgery before every Grand Slam, definitely. I think this is unbelievable. I really feel great. Not even till the last minute did I know I was going to play here. Now I'm in the quarterfinals, so I just can be very happy." Serena Williams did not make the trip to Melbourne to defend her Australian Open title, but will be a big game presence next month. Serena is set to appear in a TV commercial for Mercedes Benz, which will be airing during the Super Bowl on February 6th, Bloomberg reports. Due to her injury-induced inactivity, Serena is projected to fall from the top 10 when the new WTA rankings are released after the Australian Open. Serena is projected to fall to number 13, which would be her lowest ranking since she was number 18 in March of 2007. In other Serena news, the 13 Grand Slam champion has been suffering from a cold, making swallowing a painful proposition. Serena said, "My throat feels raw. Every time I take a sip of something, it feels like I just swallowed 20,000 mini knives." All right, everyone, go to Tennis Now and check the TV listings because tonight is going to be some great matches. We're going to watch Federer face countryman Wawrinka and Djokovic face Berdych. And then also we're going to see Li Na face off with Petkovic and Caroline Wozniacki face off with Francesca Schiavone for the first time. Well, that wraps us up for today, tennis fans. Be sure to subscribe to the Tennis Now YouTube channel. Just click that button right up there. And this is the best time to do it because we'll be giving you daily results and previews from the Australian Open. Also follow us on Facebook and Twitter as we'll be giving you the latest gossip and happenings at the Australian Open and brand new photos. I'm Lauren Lynch, and this is Tennis Now. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.